Hello, good day. All these readings, I'm always amazed almost every Sunday by how wonderful the readings go and blend with one another. I'd like to start off on this Sunday with with the gospel. There's this seemingly Jesus not acting out of his gentle temperament, but rather acting out of his strength, overturning the tables of the money changers. The way I understand that is, it's really a symbolic thing that he is doing when he does this. That he's basically saying that the old order, the Old Testament order, the Old Covenant is being overturned. And now there is a new order. And he backs up that interpretation, as far as I'm concerned, when he says, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. But he was speaking about the temple of his body, the body that was going to be crucified, and then the resurrection. In place of the temple sacrifices, the many temple sacrifices that are required. Remember how when after Jesus' birth, Mary and Joseph go to the temple to offer up their sacrifices, offering up their child to God, and offering up the turtle doves. And in place of all those sacrifices, now there is only one sacrifice. That's Jesus. He is a sacrifice. His body is the temple. And he is the new order. There is no need anymore for a temple because Jesus' one sacrifice on the cross replaces all of that. There is a new order, a new way. Referring now, this in turn, referring back to the first reading, where God gives 10 commandments. In place of the 10 commandments, now it's really Jesus replacing that old order. Now it's not the Old Testament law that should be followed, but God himself. If you remember at the beginning of the Gospels, especially Mark, Jesus comes when he's beginning his public ministry, and one of the phrases he uses that certainly stands out in my mind is, come follow me. He doesn't come and give them a new set of rules or books, but it's a personal following. Follow me, the person, Jesus. In other words, it's a direct dependence on God and on God's will. We're following God's will as he makes his will known to us, rather than a set of rules and then God goes back up into the sky and disappears, and we're left with a set of rules, God no longer present. The New Testament is really saying God is always present with us. In the second reading, the succinct way in which St. Paul makes this known. Jews demand signs, Greeks look for wisdom, but we proclaim Christ crucified. In other words, it's not signs, it's not wisdom, but it's Jesus on the cross that we follow. He's a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles, because he's no longer miracles, he's no longer just simply outstanding and brilliant thinking, but rather he's the foolishness of God, who in his foolishness just simply comes and offers himself out of love for us. For the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than human strength. God's foolishness replaces and God's weakness replaces human ways. That connects up at this very same time with the last part of the gospel for this week. But Jesus would not trust himself to them because he knew them all. He did not need anyone to testify about human nature. He himself understood it well. Well, it says that many began to believe in his name because they saw the signs he was doing. Well, at the moment that they saw the miracles, they believed in him. But that initial impetus, because they see the miracles, sort of wanes. As time goes on, human nature needs something else to keep it going. And so it's so easy after the miracles to lose interest in Jesus. Well did Jesus know human nature. One moment they're for you, and the next they could care less, is really what I understand this last paragraph from the gospel to mean. It's that reflecting back on the second reading, it's not human ways, but it's God's ways. And in God's ways, in order to be a follower of Jesus, you just have to constantly go back to the Lord and petition him, pray to him for his grace each and every day through the day. Give me the grace, give me the strength to follow your divine ways, because so often I could be attracted to so many other human things that are around me, that seem to be very close to me and grab a hold of my attention and my interest and motivate me. But to keep me motivated toward you all of my life, I need your grace. I need your presence. Which brings us into what I believe are the contrasts that he's setting up here. In the Old Testament, it says, basically, here are the rules. All you have to do is obey these particular rules. As far as those rules go, fine. Once you've done those, you're all right. And the rest of your life is yours. In the New Testament, the New Covenant, it's saying something different. Here is your God, no longer just rules. Your life, your whole life, belongs to God. And you will live, and if you give your life to God each and every day through the day, you will live forever. In the New Covenant, in the new way, everything belongs to God. It's not just follow a couple of rules and then the rest of your life is yours. Now, it's a total sacrifice of your life to God. As Jesus sacrificed himself on the cross, so are we to give our whole lives to him, not just simply follow a couple of rules. To extend that idea even a little bit further, human nature prefers having rules and regulations with which they can manipulate and maneuver things so that people can run the show. With rules and regulations alone, we can kind of wiggle and worm our way. And that's really what the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes used to operate. Having God as the one who rules our lives leaves no room to run the show ourselves. We are following the person of God through our lives. And as he leads us daily, we have to go to him and submit to him. Lord God, what is it you want of me? Please show me in your own way and give me the grace daily to follow you and not just to pretend that I'm following you. God is our daily life. It allows God to be God of our lives, the New Testament, the New Covenant, the new way. It allows God to be God of our lives. We find life in no other. May the dear Lord bless you and bless us all each and every day in his presence in our lives.